conversation. I don't care what we're called to, or anybody's called to. There's still always room for growth and to learn, and so I appreciate it personally. So, but I think that's good.
All right, well, we better go ahead and get started. So we're not on here all night. It's getting late in the hour.
Absolutely, because I know people want to see this later. They might not get a chance. Because it's about the 7 here, so East Coast is 3 hours ahead, Midwest is 2 hours, all that good stuff, so they can see it. So we don't want to hold them up with that.
Hey,
all
cousin.
Right. So welcome everybody. We are Team Taylor here, Ron and Chara, and we are going to be talking about the importance of sexual frequency within the marriage, and I think that's a very. We were just talking about how important that topic is, but I personally want to know sometimes, is that really a topic that's talked about, or is that a topic that's even mentioning, or does it just happens? How does that even work within that? But sexual, the frequency of it is some people have sex once a month, sometimes twice a month, or they just get to it and they get to it. Life is so busy. So a lot of marriages, I believe, are suffering because of that. And it's a lot of tension.
It is a lot of tension.
It's a lot of tension in marriages. Sometimes we can just be so frustrated with just what we're doing, then we don't have time to connect. So those are things I want to kind of dive in, with that personally myself.
I think if people understood how important it is to our health. So we have this gift in marriage of sex, and if we look into it psychologically or from a scientific perspective, studies have shown that women should have an orgasm about every 48 hours. About every 48 hours, a woman's body benefits from having a sexual release. It benefits them. It benefits the woman with the mood, hormones, stress. There's several other benefits that come with having that sexual release. And so I'm curious as to how many women are really following that, or how many women even know that our bodies benefit from having that release about every 48 hours. Every 48 hours, the woman's body benefits from having a sexual release. So we praise God for the gift of marriage that we can do that. And then for the men, men are supposed to have a release about 21 times a month for good prostate health. And so it's like, are we helping each other? Are we helping each other to have optimal health through this gift that God has given us of sex? He's given us this gift of sex. And I'm like, most people got married because that's what they wanted to do. Most people didn't get married because they wanted to take cute pictures together, or just because they wanted to, do ministry or do work or business together, or just for having kids. But you got to have sex to have kids. I know a lot of people got married because they want to have sex. And it's like, soon as they get in it, and then problems start having, the very first thing that decreases is the frequency in sex. And so we want to help you build that back up. If nothing else, understanding that woman, you need to release about every 48 hours, and the men need to release about 21 times a month. Not 21 days. Right. Just 21 times.
Right.
21 times.
I know people look at those numbers like, oh man, 21 times. Now, fellas probably could be happy about 21 times or 21 days. If you do it once, because you got different things that happens within, when you have kids, you have work and all those different things. But people don't act like that when they having sex. They got to have an hour or 2-3 hour session. No, it can be 5 to 7 minutes. That's,
nobody really wanted that short. Okay, nobody really wants it that short. Okay,
But again, what I'm saying is, if you have a busy life, of course you make time for date night. You make time for Saturdays or Fridays or whatever day y'all can get together. But for a man to have 21 releases, because sometimes, it's hard to get 2 of them in the same day. After the first one gone, it takes a while.
That's true.
And so those are in the middle of the night or early mornings, those are little rollover kind of things that can help a man, personally. But but if you guys out there can get 2 or 3 off in a day, then more power to you.
Have fun.
I can't. So it had to be 21 days for me, I guess.
So not that those are like standards that absolutely have to.
That's a baseline for everybody
Right.
to, to a goal to look forward to. But it's just fun. But again, you have kids, you have jobs, you have just overall, just whatever you're dealing with.
Life be life.
Just life, yeah.
Life be life.
But I get it. But I totally get it. But still, more power to fellas that can do all that.
But it is important. It is important that we maintain a certain level of frequency to keep it going. Even we were admonished by our brother Paul to come together as often as we can, except for a time when we both agree to separate for prayer and for fasting, so that we're not tempted. And he didn't leave it to the point of that is just being tempted to go outside the marriage. No, we're tempted to have bad attitudes. We're tempted to not get along. So other things can come up if we stay sexually disconnected for a long period of time. And so it benefits us, it benefits couples to make sure to build up on that frequency, to build up on it.
I think, me personally, I think it just starts with a conversation. Just talking about it. Do people out there really just sit and talk about their sex life? Or they just, like everything else, just let it happen?
Yeah, it's sad if it's just happening, if it's just if there is no conversation about it, if there is no planning, if there is no preparation. And I know people think that planning sex seems to be boring, but if you go and do research and you talk to any psychologist or any therapist, one of the treatments is to prescribe scheduled sex. And it has been proven in research that couples who schedule sex have better sex. So it's important to bring those ideas together. And I think it's important because I like the whole concept of scheduling, because anything that goes on my calendar, I prepare for. Mm-hmm. And so if it's on there, not like, oh, okay, but I know that, okay, let me shut everything else off. Let me get my mindset right. Let me go ahead and get my body together. Let me go ahead and get ready, because that's what we do when things are on our calendar, for meetings, for church, for work. We prepare for things that are on our calendar. So if we schedule that time in with our spouse, then we won't just be having lazy sex, because infrequent sex can amount to lazy sex.
Right. Yeah. But we're not discounting out those spur of the moment spontaneous.
Absolutely.
Because the early mornings and all those different things,
right?
Those are great. Or you just happen to be home on a Saturday, nobody's in the house, y'all just there, and something happens. That's to me, that those moments are great as well. So
true.
We don't want to discredit any of the spontaneous sex. We don't want to discredit the ones that are scheduled. I think it's all work together, but it still have to have a conversation. You should just kind of sit back and just talk with each other, and just what do we like to do? What do you like early in the morning? Do you like late nights? A lot of things that we just forget to talk about in the beginning. We just kind of just let stuff happen, and then over time, life adds to our life, and then we forget about each other's needs, and each other's needs to be satisfied. Whether a man is he wants his needs to be satisfied, and so the first thing, he don't want to cheat, don't want to do all that stuff, but everything outside of that catches his attention, or he's trying to see if he still got it, and he's doing everything outside of the house to to stay faithful, to do all those different things. But at the same time, what does it mean from his point of view to get his needs crossed? Is he going to watch porn? Is he going to do all those things? All these different traps that really actually takes you away from your spouse, versus where I'm just kind of substituting until it happened. And that's where we get into those traps that makes it very hard to come back. Because once you start watching that stuff, once you start talking to other people, or being too overly nice to individuals, and then I think it really it creates barriers, because everybody's going to put their very first foot forward when they talk to you. But then once you get to know that person, then you realize who they are. But by that time, you're already sucked into whatever situation that happens.
Yeah, so. I agree. I think there, some of the things that we have to do to overcome these barriers is along with talking, making sure we're sexually compatible, talking about how things have changed, what I like that this time, I don't like that anymore, I need something different, my body has changed, different things as we are aging and as we are progressing along in life. I think we also have to make sure we realize that there's an enemy that wants to keep us disconnected. And so allowing problems in life to keep us separated is one of the things that interrupts frequency. So I like to say that the enemy will do his very best to play in our emotions, but we need to unattach our emotions from our genitals. And so I'm sure our genitals are not mad at each other. So, something happened and caused me to get frustrated, and something happened that caused you to get frustrated, you mad, I'm mad, let's get into bed and get glad. So let's figure out a way to overcome these barriers that the enemy uses, these devices, these small foxes that the enemy tries to use to keep couples disconnected. And that is, we absolutely have to make sure that we are not allowing disconnection to keep life to keep us disconnected, because life will. If we allow it to keep us disconnected, then we will stay disconnected. But we have to put in those measures to stay connected, to say, nope, I'm not getting ready to let that stop us. I'm not getting ready to let that stop us. We are to come together as often as we possibly can.
Absolutely. And I think when you talked about how the enemy wants to come into the marriage, but one of the key, I think, I guess pivot points were between the husband and wife is that not looking at each other as the enemy.
Yeah.
Because who wants to have sex with somebody you're mad at? Mm-hmm. Who wants to, be freaky or be, those little, what you call it, boyfriend and girlfriend? What is that? The flirtatious thing.
Okay. Courting.
Courting when you're frustrated with somebody. Mm-hmm. And so that means there's some underlying work that needs to be done. That means I need to get to a place mentally to where I like you. I need to get to a place mentally to where I want to come over to hug and kiss you. Are you inviting for me? Are you in a situation to where you're not holding me accountable for something that I already apologized to you? So all those different things take effect when it comes to sex. I tease my wife all the time. I said, when it's easy for the ladies sometimes, to get oils and get lubrications and things like that. She's shaking her head now, but it's the truth. Me, if I'm frustrated up here, that blood ain't going nowhere down there. There's creams that keep it hard, but what makes us hard, other than me thinking about you, other than me wanting to be with you, other than me, so for me, it's a psychological imbalancement that is predicated on how I feel about you. And sometimes those feelings can be misinterpreted in a way that I could be angry, frustrated, or assume something, and that can not even be the case. It could just be, I thought you said something, or I thought you meant something. So if I never come to you and talk to you and really say, hey, babe, what's going on, then I'm going to just assume throughout the whole day, and you don't have nothing to do with it. But I'm looking at you like, she ain't said nothing, and your mind is somewhere else, and so that's how the other person becomes the enemy, because there's no conversation, there is no connection, there is no anything that promotes, hey, we need to sit and talk. And then the next day, the next you know, it's 3 or 4 weeks then gone by, and there's no sex, and then it's a problem. And so you won't get to the underlying area of the problem. You just fight over what's on the surface already, and that is we ain't had no sex.
Right.
And so we're not digging in it. We're not digging under anything. And so I just feel like that it's a great thing. I love and I appreciate it. And I like it. Sometimes I wish I could buy it in a can, take it to work with me, but because I can carry you along with me all the time. But
you do. You're supposed to. You're supposed to. Okay. Lord, help her. Help him, Lord. Help him.
Oh, he has.
So this topic is one topic that we really don't hear about or really discuss. Unless there is like counseling. So in counseling, we hear about it all the time. Not getting it enough, we hear about it all the time. So I really, my question is to others, what are your thoughts about frequency? Are you keeping up, or do you have a plan that is working for you? How are you maintaining the woman? How are you maintaining making sure you get a release every 48 hours? How are you making sure you get that release to have optimal health? That every 48 hours the woman is getting a release. When I learned that, it changed so much. It changed so much. Yep, I have things going on in my life, but the way that God designed the body for me to have my hormones leveled out, for me to have a good mood, especially as you're going through perimenopause, get the release that God has allowed you to get, that He set your body up to get. I wonder how women are feeling. What are you doing? And, one thing that I don't want for women to do is to use sex as a weapon.
Oh, yeah.
To use sex as a weapon against her husband. Weapons are used when it's time for a battle. Weapons are used in the event of an emergency. I like to help women figure out that God has given us a tool, and tools are created to help and fix things. And so we can use the tool that God gave us and that's not the only way to fix it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, the sex fixes everything. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that as the enemy tries to keep the couples apart, let's use our tools to keep each other together.
Absolutely. I like what you said about, the tools. And you think about all the tools like in your shed or in your house. It fixes stuff. It builds. It creates. It does all these different things. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to use a tool, you can't take a flathead screwdriver, and try to drill something. You can force it in, you can try to, pound it in, but at the end of the day, you're going to take more time, wear yourself out, and then you don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
And so I think when people use sex from that perspective, then it creates this, war. And you said something that's really great, with weapons. You only use weapons against an enemy. And so if you are the enemy, the only way we're going to connect is through weaponry.
It's awful.
And that's not a good place. That's not a good place to be. That's not a good thing to do. And how many people that's out there, whether they in the church, outside the church, or whether they new beginners, because after the honeymoon is over, the people went home, your gifts is all put up in the cupboards, and so now what's next?
Yeah, absolutely.
What is next?
Absolutely.
Is it kids? Now I'm going to put all my life into the kids. Or is it work, put my life to the work? But then all of a sudden I'm leaving something behind, which is how I feel, what I fell in love with, the first time, we got together. So these things are very, very much needed for us married couples, because if you look at statistics, and I'm a stats guy, there are over 60+%. This is just in the church alone. 65% of people in the church are getting divorced. That's more than the world. I think the world is probably in the 50s, maybe less than that. But this is a place where we are talking about God, where we are talking about how marriage, how we supposed to, we could do it in front of God without shame. And I call it worship. I'm like, you want to go worship real quick? So these are verses, these are things that we can just use, together, before God without any, defilement, any of that stuff. And just be happy, with each other, But I don't know. It's a hot topic, scary topic, taboo topic, but people make it that way. It don't have to be that way.
I was gonna say it's really not. It's really not. It's really not. We're married. These things are what we're supposed to talk about. We're supposed to invest in marriages. We're supposed to invest in our marriage, and that is one way that we invest in the marriage. So it's really not. It's not a taboo topic. It's like everybody wants to do it, but nobody wants to go and learn to do it appropriately. Nobody wants to get adult sex education. A lot of people are working off elementary sex ed classes or something that they've watched on television or something that somebody taught them from another experience. No, go and come find us. We'll help you. Learn how to have adult sex. Okay, and learn how to invest in sex and do it the right way, and especially as our bodies are aging and things are changing, we need to learn a little bit more.
Yeah,
we need to learn a little more.
Especially when you have the times. Well, see, Bonnie and Clyde over here, they've been learning themselves, so they over here doing their thing. But but I just think that I just feel like each one of us, we have needs. And those needs are expressed based off how you feel. If I don't feel right, then everybody else, you don't feel right. And then we come together, it's lazy, it's, well, he ain't had none in a while, let me give him some, or let me go ahead over here because I don't want to cheat.
Like some insurance. Let me do this so that
Absolutely.
he don't go or she don't go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's not cool.
No, it's not. And over time, that just creates just disconnect when you're really trying to connect. So learning, not saying don't nobody know how to have sex, but it's just the way you approach it mentally. And because we got she has to pure romance, all that good stuff, so we got positions, and you want to strap the legs here, go that way.
They're called position holders.
Position holders, whatever they call. I don't care what they call. I just know how to use them.
They're called position holders, sir.
I don't care about the names. Just say, okay, let me do that. Let me read the instructions. Your foot go here. But it's just fun. It's just really fun to connect in ways with somebody that got your back. How great is it to give someone 100% being vulnerable in a sexual way and don't have to expect it back. It just comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you with that person until God calls you both home. And so that's the key for me. And so why mess that up? Why disturb that kind of opportunity that you can have with someone that you stood before God and witnesses that you're going to love, protect, rich or poor, sickness and health, and all that good stuff that we just say, but we haven't been tested by it, but we still say it. But anyway, that's another story. But I just think that we are created in a way to be that, to be the source, and also to take care of the problem.
I think something else that we forget to talk about when it comes to frequency is we gotta help. We really have to help each other. We have to help each other. Like you mentioned, if there's something going on up here and the blood is going where it really needs to go, we really have to help each other. Women need help in that area. Men need help in that area. Husband help the wife, help her with things around the house, help her so that she's not as stressed, help her, speak to her emotions, encourage her, help her get to that place so that she is ready. Help each other get to that place so that each other are ready to enjoy the benefit that God has given us. God has given us, and he's given us a gift. And every time we decide that we're going to withhold from each other, what are we telling God about the gift that he has given us? What are we telling him? What are we really saying when we withhold from each other? Well, when we decide, I'm not doing this because, and no, I don't care. When we decide, what are we really telling God about the gift that he's allowed us to have? That's something for us to really ponder and think about. What are you telling God? And if you're telling him, God, I really ain't happy with what you gave me, you might want to rethink your actions so that and figure out a way. And that means that if you need to invest in the marriage and get some help and get some counseling, don't avoid that. I think that I feel like marriage maintenance is just as important as going to your yearly doctor's appointment or going to get your for men, got to get the oil changed every 3,000 miles or whatever it is for these cars these days. I don't know. I don't take care of it. So, but keeping up with maintenance on the marriage, learning how and having a mediator to help navigate through those tough waters can help us with the connection. That way we can bless God for the gift that he's given us and not throw it in his face and tell him that we don't like what he's given us.
Absolutely. It's almost like, you want to, you go to the store, they ask you, do you want your receipt emailed or do you want to print off?
Right.
So it's like, all right, guy, is it a refund? Can I try again? And the answer is no.
But sometimes some people he let out. Some people can get out and make an exodus, but not everybody is getting out. Now everybody's getting an exodus. So if you're not getting out and you're not getting an exodus from your covenant, then work on it, invest in it.
Yeah,
and bless God for the gift that he's. Figure out how to help each other in this area. Figure it out. We're almost out of time.
Yep, yep. So I do want to, and I want you to probably talk the last couple minutes of, we do have a marriage retreat that is coming up in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
It's in September, I believe.
Yeah.
It's going to be in St. Louis, Missouri. So
Yeah.
we actually coming back to St. Louis. She's good with all that administration stuff. So I just get the other stuff done. You know?
So listen, if you enjoyed this topic, we're going to talk about this and so many other things at our upcoming marriage getaway in September of 2025. Registrations is now open. The reason that we open so early is because we want to give all couples an opportunity to pay it off without any problems and without dipping into some of the things you already have going on in life. So I want to encourage you to go to our website at teamtaylorministries.com and go to the Awaken Love page where you can see all of the information for the upcoming marriage retreat that is going to be, well, it's a marriage getaway and gala because we have an adult prom. There's so many different things that goes into our time together, but we hit these topics in depth and we walk through how to make corrections. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So if you have any questions, you feel free to contact us. You can contact us here on Facebook or you can contact us by way of our website. Again, that website is www.teamtaylorministries.com.
Give me an email.
Oh, you can email us at teamtaylorministries@gmail.com.
All right. So we want to thank you guys. I know we just kind of scratched over the surface a little bit.
Just wanted to give you a taste.
Yeah, just a little bit because we get a little a little raunchy sometimes, with situation, but it is very, very well needed. But we don't want to scare everybody away. We're kind of easing in there because once you realize in your marriage that God gives you freedom to explore each other's bodies, every single inch of it, and then you can walk around in freedom mentally, spiritually, and also physically. It makes at least your world a lot peaceful. So we want to say thank you for joining us, and we hope that you maybe share this with others and think about the retreat
and give us your feedback. What do you think about it?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it. Comment and let us know how you feel about this topic.
Absolutely, yeah. So put in there. Do you think it's important for frequency? Do you think that is it necessary, or you just it is what it is. It just happened when it happened. So we want to know what you guys think, just the truth about it, and then help us with data, and help us what people think and polls and things like that. All right. So you guys have a great night, and we will see you the next time we come on. All right.
Bye. Bye.